I'm Sherilyn Skolnicki, and this is Brilliant Balance, the show for working women who are ready to shine. Each week, I bring you ideas, inspiration, and insight on balance, business, and getting it all done gracefully. You ready? Let's be brilliant. This is episode 167 of the Brilliant Balance podcast. Welcome to a brand new year. If you are feeling anything like me, this is cause for celebration, a breath of fresh air, a chance to clear the slate and make a clean start as we head into this brand new year. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you are in a great mood, have a bright sense of hopefulness and positivity as we head into this new year together. And before I get into today's episode, there is something coming up next week to help you kick off this year that I want to make sure you know about. Because, as I mentioned, if you're like me, you could probably use a reset after the year that we have all just walked through together. And as we turn the page to this brand new year, I want to help you get back to feeling like a rock star at work and at home. And in order to feel like one, you know what it's going to take. You've got to figure out how to get all the things done, the things for your work life, the things for your home life, and still protect some time for yourself. The problem, of course, is we all already have too much to do and not enough time to do it. And now you have to bake in this reset and recovery, right? So you can restore and rejuvenate yourself and really find your way forward. Because of that, I want you to have someone in your corner, someone who has been where you are and who really knows how to help you put all the pieces together and still have some room to breathe. And that's where I come in, my friend. As an entrepreneur with a husband and 3 children of my own, I know exactly how it feels. It's exhausting, it can be stressful, and honestly, it can sometimes feel hopeless. That's why I really had to find a way to get my life in order a number of years ago, get all these pieces to fit better so I could still do things like get a good night's sleep and have a little bit of time for myself. And it wasn't easy. It took some time, but what I discovered through that process has now helped me. It's helped thousands of other women reclaim rockstar status over the last 11 years. And now it's your turn. So I'm going to unpack this 3-step process with you. We're going to take it day by day in a private online workshop that I am hosting starting on January 11th. First, we'll get you energized. So you go into every day feeling like you're ready to take it on. And then we'll teach you to be more productive. So you get to the end of every week feeling like you got the things done that you really meant to get done. And then third, we'll show you how you can really feel truly fulfilled by your life. It all kicks off on January 11th in a private pop-up Facebook group. And that's where I'll be sharing all my very best ideas with you in a series of live broadcasts throughout the week. The whole workshop is totally free because I want you to be able to participate. So grab a spot and get on the path to rockstar status today. Head over to brilliant-balance.com/rockstar workshop, all smushed together in one word, and you'll get the registration link there. It's also linked up for you in the show notes. Okay, so let's get into today's episode. And today, I want to talk with you about purpose. This is such a hot topic. It is a question I get asked literally all the time. There is so much hand-wringing and so much hair pulling around finding your purpose. It's become like the American pastime over here, right? Everyone is in search of purpose. And very few people honestly feel like they've found it. It's kind of almost become this like mystical, elusive thing that we're all off trying to nail down. And so today I was thinking about how might I talk about purpose? And I have some thoughts for you that honestly at first blush may seem counterintuitive, right? It might not seem like something I would say sitting in my seat as the founder of Brilliant Balance, but my biggest advice for you is to stop looking for your purpose and actually start living your life. And I mean it. It's the living that matters, right? The looking can become sort of exhausting and can keep us running in circles more than we might like to admit. So if you want to really get in the game and learn how do you let purpose reveal itself, I have a few things today that I want you to spend some time thinking about. And this is the perfect time of year to go into this brand new year thinking about this so that we don't get stuck at the starting line, right? My biggest sadness is when I see people with so much potential who are just frozen in place, kind of waiting to find the perfect way forward instead of getting in the game and doing things. So let's unpack these 4 ideas for you today. If you are someone who has found that seeking your purpose or looking for your purpose has become more of a deterrent than anything, right? More of a cement block that you're stuck in than anything else. The first thing I would have you think about is, or I would ask you to do, is to trust your instincts. Most of the time when I'm working with women in one of our coaching programs, and they're really stuck on these questions of purpose, what I find is that the answers are right there, like they're on the tip of their tongue, they're just below the surface, they're just almost not giving themselves permission to claim them. So the first thing when you think about trusting your instincts is maybe ask some different questions than what you've been asking, right? Maybe think about what is calling to you, right? What's calling your name in the world? What are the causes or the problems or the opportunities that are sort of, they almost feel like they're calling out to you when you read about them in the news or you hear a friend talking about them or you see a company that's addressing those issues. Another question that can be very powerful is what excites you, right? What like gets you excited that you could think about it? You're sort of naturally curious about it. You could go learn about it for just hours on end or days or weeks on end. Another question is what feels important to you, right? What really seems to matter? Like this is a problem, a challenge, an opportunity, a dynamic that I really think it feels worthy of time and effort and attention. That can be a pathway in where your instincts are talking to you, but you might not be paying attention. Another one is, what do you want to do, right? When I asked before, what excites you? It's like, what could you get up in the morning and feel really happy about having the chance to pursue? That's a pathway sometimes. And then another one is, what have you lived through? What have you walked through? What have you survived and learned from? They're the seeds of purpose, right? These are the clues. They're like stepping stones or navigational stars that can start to point you in the direction of where are you really going to feel like you're of the highest service. So when those instincts, when those intuitive hits come to you, trust them. Trust your instincts when they start talking to you. Okay, so that's the first piece. Then the second piece is try things on for size. Try the things that feel like they're calling to you. Get out into the world and do them. Right? Don't just explore them. Don't just think about them. Actually do it. Maybe it's a project, just a simple project that you can take on at work or something that you see as a need in your family or in your community that you can move into doing mode, right? Maybe it's a volunteer role and maybe it's paid work. It doesn't really matter. Either of those can connect you to purpose. The key here is to stop thinking and stop talking, right? And pontificating and start actually doing something. Doing it will feel so good, I promise you. And you will learn so much through the act of doing, through translating it from an idea, like a fuzzy, smoky, ephemeral idea, into something that actually has meat and bones, that has teeth to it, that you can actually activate against. They're very different states. It's very different to think about something than it is to actually do it. So that second piece of try things on for size is important. And I am very intentionally here not making this like a big giant thing, right? I'm very intentionally saying, try something small. Try something that has a defined beginning, middle, and end, something manageable, almost like an experiment that you could run rather than quit your job and move into an entirely different field and, carry all the risk that comes with that, because that can also be paralyzing, and we want to make sure you stay out of that paralyzing territory. Ever feel like instead of you running your week is running you? I know, we've all been there. Too often it feels like time is racing by and we're just struggling to keep up. But listen, it doesn't have to be this way. Let me help you take control of your calendar once and for all. Get my downloadable guide and learn how you can align your time with your priorities and get a handle on your never-ending to-do list. Head over to brilliant-balance.com/calendar to download your guide and get control over your calendar starting today. Okay, third thing, once you've started doing, is pay attention to how it feels. Notice how it feels to try and do these things. If you're just in a go, 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 do mode, then you can't actually assess how it's going, right? But purpose is something that will settle into your bones, right? You'll feel connected to the impact that you're making. And if you don't slow down or get quiet enough to notice that, you might miss it. So a couple things to try would be classically journaling, right? Get out an old school journal, like a paper book, right? Or a digital journal, and jot down your thoughts about how this experiment feels, right? Do you end the day thinking to yourself, that mattered? Are you able to look into the eyes of someone whose life is affected by the work that you're doing and really appreciate the impact that you're having? So journaling is a way to anchor into, how is this going for you, right? If you're less prone to writing and more prone to talking, you may want to have reflective conversations with someone, right? You might have an accountability partner, or maybe your spouse or your sister, somebody that you can chat with and unpack how this is going and how it's feeling. I am a verbal processor. I'm sure that's shocking since I have a podcast, but it is super helpful for me to talk things out. I also have a journaling practice, and I have for years, and I keep notebooks on everything. Those two modalities, both processing things in writing and processing them out loud, are very powerful steering tools to me, right? They help me steer what needs to shift and change, right? Does it feel like what I'm doing matters? Does it feel like I'm focused on the right things? Where do I need to make a course correction along the path? So ask yourself, how will you know? What is the methodology that's going to work best for you to really tune in and pay attention to how this work in the world is feeling for you? That's the third thing. So let me just review. We had trust your instincts, try things on for size, and then pay attention to how it feels. And then the fourth one I'll give you is maybe a little bit of an asterisk on this whole conversation. And this is really rooted in conversations I've had now with women in our coaching programs. And I would say, try spelling purpose with a lowercase p. And what I mean by that is, a lot of the people I work with get hung up in what I call capital P purpose, right? The big end all and be all purpose, like the mission of our life, the whole reason we're on the planet. And honestly, that can be a lot to take in. It can feel so important It can feel like similar almost to finding your soulmate. Like there's one option out there and you're on a search or a quest for it. So sometimes it's helpful to instead think about a short-term purpose, lowercase p purpose, something that has your name on it right now, right? Maybe this is something like, and these are examples from people that I've coached, supporting an aging parent through an illness or through end of life. That is purposeful, right? It's not going to last forever, but it may be exactly where you're needed in this moment. And it might warrant your full attention. Creating a stellar senior year for your high school student. The culmination of their years at home. We had that with someone in our coaching program during quarantine, where the 2019-2020 school year that ended in quarantine was the senior year for her daughters. And connecting to that as purpose for that year was really freeing for her. It could be something like completing a big home renovation, where this is, a series of changes that's going to serve your family well for years to come, but requires your attention in this chapter. So these are lowercase p purpose. They're purposeful for right now, but they can change from year to year, month to month, right? The key is just not to get paralyzed trying to find that capital P purpose, and instead to get in motion, get out there and live your life where you can learn something, where you can steer, where you can make changes. Otherwise, you're operating entirely in the theoretical, right? Searching for that one perfect answer. And so if you find yourself in that pattern, if you listen to that today and think, man, I am doing that. I am letting myself off the hook by saying I haven't figured out my purpose yet. Therefore, I'll just stay here in this job that I hate, or I'll just stay here in this life that is not living up to my expectations. The absence of having the big capital P purpose figured out, you don't want to let that freeze you in place, right? So some of these pathways that I've shared today, trust your instincts, try things on for size, pay attention to how it feels once you get it in motion, and then try spelling purpose with a lowercase p. See if those things can give you some freedom to stop trying to find your purpose and actually get out there and start living your life. I would love to hear from you when you put some of these ideas into practice. It is so powerful to have that feedback loop from you when you've listened and been touched by something I've said and done something about it. So if you liked today's episode, if you had an aha moment or something cracked open for you, will you tell me about it? And a great way to do that is to leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. It takes about 60 seconds, and it means so much to me. It means so much to the people who are just discovering the show and trying to figure out what it's all about. So if you loved today's episode and you're willing to do that, I would be so grateful. Just go to ratings and reviews, leave a very short review, and let me know your thoughts. Remember also, on January 11th, we're kicking off 3 Steps to Rockstar Status to help you feel like the rock star you deserve to be in your work and in your home life. So get yourself registered. That's at brilliant-balance.com/rockstar workshop, all smushed together. All of those sessions are recorded, and you will get access to those recordings. So even if you can't join us live, no worries. You come be a part of that community in the pop-up group. Get connected with other people on a similar journey to you, and get the content on demand when you need it during that week. All right, on next week's show, I am tackling a goal that I know so many of you will have at this time of year, clearing the clutter in your lives with my guest, Lori Palau. So that is all for today. Tune in next time. And until then, my friends, let's be brilliant.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.